Same breakfast as yesterday?
Well, I had a protein shake first. Did you see my story this morning or no?
Yeah, I did.
So I was supposed to this week just track and not change behavior based off of what I read, but I couldn't help myself because I knew I was low yesterday.
Yeah.
And I knew that I was going to get behind today, and I knew I'm still recovering. I couldn't help myself. I was like, I gotta go get some more protein. Because I want to do this as fast as possible. So there's a part of me that wants to lay it out for the week and then tell everybody how I adjust. But reality is, I know I need it.
Margaret, who works
Also,
for
it's
us, is
kind of going
Solomon,
off how
right?
you feel too, right? Like just being that like.
You're right, and I'm more because I'm also sore too. That I'm like, dude, I have to get this. It's like shooting myself in the foot if I don't.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah,
I mean, I'll keep it real with them as those types of moments happen. I'll definitely share with the audience like that I made a pivot or change.
So per request, I'm kidding. It's not per request. My decision. We're gonna do Bon Jovi today. I'm trying to find. What I need to do is I need to find the perfect volume so I can enjoy this and it doesn't piss everybody off on YouTube. Also, lesson today, Lauren, don't leave your LMNT mango salt and watermelon salt with your EAAs from Keon mango flavored overnight in the bottle because it's like, yeah, so we'll see how this tastes. I left it, and I don't know if it's the plastic or what. Probably not the best thing. I should probably be mixing in this, but this is actually my everyday water bottle, and I don't like to flavor it up. I don't want any flavor in it. So we're gonna do grapefruit today. I think every flavor. Do you guys like every flavor? Or is there any flavors you guys don't like? You know what? I take that back. I don't like, sorry, LMNT, not the best commercial for you. But I wasn't a fan of all the sweet stuff, the chocolate. They did that whole mint chocolate line and chocolate. And I love like sweet. It didn't go good with me. Somebody told me you should do it like in hot chocolate or something like that. But with water, meh. I like all the tarty flavors. So we're gonna call another audible. It's starting to look like that's happening almost every day. But this is a cool one. This is actually hopefully, and I'm actually having a lot more fun doing this than I thought. I thought, you know what? There's no way there's gonna be enough content for us to keep doing this every day. But you know what? My stupid decisions, my overreaching, my injury and modifications is just giving us a gift, the gift that keeps on giving of content here. So today is on MAPS 15. We were supposed to do squats for 4 sets and dips. I'm super excited to do dips. I told you guys the other day, I can't wait to get in that deep stretch and kind of work the pec out a little bit. So I'm excited about dips. We'll probably just do body weight. I don't know if I should push it too much with weighted dips, so we'll just do body weight dips. Squats, here's where the audible is today. The audible is gonna be, I'm gonna do elevated heels. I have the wrong shoes today. Actually, I thought I had my squat shoes here. I didn't. But I'm gonna do elevated heels for this reason. We deadlifted the other day. My hamstrings, I overreached a little bit on that also. Thought the 135, okay, was gonna be so light. But my hamstrings are pretty sore. Spent a little bit of time in front of the red light trying to recover, but I'm still a little sore now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do elevated heels with the intent of taking some of the stress off the hamstrings and putting more of it on the quads. Another option would be for do like front squats or goblet squats. I could do that, but I wanna put a bar on my back. I just feel like doing barbell back squats calls for that. But we're gonna elevate the heels. That's gonna shift more of the emphasis on the quads, take a little bit of the hamstring. Doesn't mean the hamstrings don't get worked. They obviously get worked in that movement too, but by elevating the heels, it'll become more of a quad dominant squat than as much as it is, because it's more of a posterior chain when you think about the glutes and the hamstrings that are involved in the squat. By us elevating our heels kind of shifts more of the emphasis on the anterior, on the front, on the quad. So that is going to be an audible that we're going to call. I'm going to prime, warm up. The prone cobras the other day felt so good, so we're going to prime with some prone cobras and some 90-90s, and then we'll get to work. Okay? Get some of this LMNT inside me, get rocking and rolling. Let's see if it doesn't taste like dog shit. Oh, okay, not bad. I got enough rinsed out. And maybe the grapefruit flavor fixed that. All right, let's go to work, boys. You know, one of the things that's really hard for the viewer to see, and I'll point it out a few times, and I hope I don't have to keep pointing it out, but when you see me doing these stretches, it looks like I'm just going into the stretch and I'm relaxing. What you can't see is that I'm actually pushing the knee into the ground and pushing my ankle. I'm intensifying it, right? So I'm turning this into a active, not a passive stretch. A passive stretch, I would just kind of lean into the stretch and lay relaxed. We're not trying to relax these muscles. We're going to activate these muscles. We're about to go into a squat today, so I want to wake up. I want to get all those muscle fibers firing, wake up all those dormant muscles, and take it to that in range of motion and then activate. So I go to the stretch position. Once it's stretched, then I'm thinking and I'm driving the knee in, driving the ankle. And then if you do that right, you'll feel it. Oh, it'll light all that glute piriformis area up. Then I come out of it. So I'm just holding it for about 5 seconds. Come through, push in, drive, connect. Good 5 seconds and come out of it. So even though some of these, you guys, I'm just kind of going through the motions and I'm not communicating to you, I want you to know that every time you see me do a priming movement before we exercise, I'm intensifying it, right, by driving in. And we're turning it into more of an active type of stretch than a passive stretch. You don't want to do a passive stretch before we go into trying to call upon all those muscles. You know, I remember learning that probably about year, I don't know, 6 or so as a trainer. And then I had younger brothers and sisters that played sports. And so I would sit around the soccer field. They played soccer. And now I couldn't help but get my trainer brain out. Like, you see all these kids getting ready to play sports. And unfortunately, a lot of rec leagues are, you know, the dad that volunteered. You know, it's not until you get up to high school, college, you start getting like legit coaches most of the time. Sometimes you get lucky and your kids get like a really good coach or maybe a dad who's a trainer, and so that he does it, or a mom for that matter. And what you see them doing is they do all these stretches where they cross their legs over and they hang over for 20, 30 seconds and they switch legs, or, you know, they sit on the ground, they reach and hold their legs for long. And those are all passive stretches. And when you hold that stretch for about 30 seconds or longer, you actually relax the muscle. And one of the worst things you could do before going into playing an explosive sport like soccer, basketball, football, any sport for that, is to relax the muscles. Now, we want to warm them up and activate them. So you still want to do a type of a stretch, which is more of a dynamic or active, which is what this would kind of fall under, right? So we call it priming. And that's what our MAPS Prime and Prime Pro was written for. But I'm activating all my muscles while I do it. I'm not holding the stretch for long periods of time. It's not passive. And what this is doing, I'm getting all the same benefits of kind of stretching out, but I'm also calling upon all those muscles to get ready. We're going to go do some work. And I don't want to sit there and stretch for a long period of time and relax it. That's not what we want to do. And you'll know when your kid has got a good coach, because you'll normally see, when they're going around the soccer field, they'll be doing more dynamic stuff. So if you see kids that are warming up and they're doing like marches or leg kicks or jump tucks or dynamic movements like this, or your perfect stretch, or what I call the lizard with rotation, you see them doing stretches that are movement based, you know you've got a good coach or a good trainer that's working with those athletes. Now, you'll see this at the professional level now. I mean, maybe 20 years ago, not so much. But now you'll see that occasionally with kids. And so you always know, I'd always go over and go talk to the coach or the trainer whenever I'd see it, because then I knew they were educated, right? But same thing applies to you guys that are just working out. When you guys are getting ready to lift, you don't want to lay down and stretch and relax everything before you go. So I guess I should point out, a lot of times you'll see me sitting like this, right? So what a combat stretch looks like is like this, right? And what I'm doing is I'm driving my knees over and I'm thinking about lifting my toes, right? So we're activating all these muscles that are responsible for helping my knee travel further over my toes. One of the limiting factors for squat depth for most people is ankle mobility. They don't have the mobility for their knees to travel all the way forward so that their hips can drop down into a squat. So what I'm doing is I'm priming those muscles to get activated, wake up, and allow the knee to travel over further. This will now allow better squat depth. What you guys see on the camera sometimes is me just sitting down here like this. What you don't know and what you don't see is I'm actually doing that. I'm actually and you'll see me kind of rock to one side. I'm driving over and I'm doing that. So this is not a traditional combat stretch position, but once you understand the muscles you're trying to activate in order to increase range of motion on the calves, I don't have to sit in the traditional combat stretch. I can sit like this and I can rock side. I'm lifting the toes and I can feel this nice burn and stretch on my shins, lifting the toes up, then I'll kind of rock to the other side. And so I'm working on ankle mobility before we get ready for that squat. I feel like I have to address that because I've got all the physical therapists, mobility, PT people now, I see the questions and comments inside the thread, and people are wanting to know, I thought stretching and warming up is important. Well, I'm definitely not videoing all the corrective work that I'm doing. I'm sure there's some people on there that would love that and find value. Unfortunately, my guys don't follow me around to my house, and I'm not the type of person who's going to grab his camera every time. And I'm just sorry. I love you guys, but I also have a wife and kid and a life, and don't want to be that person who has to video everything he does in his life. I'm going to do my best to inform you guys on the stuff that I do, but I'm certainly not going to record my whole life. And I do a lot of that stuff at home. It's very tedious and basic, but it is important, right? So I'm always working on keeping that good mobility and that ability to sit down in a good, comfortable squat. Didn't get there by just stretching once or twice before a workout. All right. Let's prone cobra. By the way, update on the shoulder. We're like, I think I said we're like a 7.5 out of 10 or something like that before. We're about an 8.5 out of 10. We're getting there. This morning was like the first morning I woke up and I was like, oh, almost didn't feel anything. So look out for all my PTs. Oh, okay. Yeah, one more side of that. The other question I saw in there that I want to make sure I address too is all my breathing Nazis. Most important part, I used to tell my clients this who ask this question too, because you'll read different stuff on, when you breathe in, when you breathe out, what that cadence looks like. The most important part of breathing when you exercise is that you do it. It's not a good idea to hold your breath for a long period of time. Doesn't mean, and you'll see it when I squat, because I have a slow tempo squatting, you'll see me a lot of times hold my breath, and then I'll breathe at the top of the set, or you'll see me breathe out as I go up, but I hold my breath on the way down. That's me bracing so hard. Powerlifters tend to do that. You'll read different stuff where you should be breathing in as you go down and then breathe out as you come up. But when you manipulate tempo so much, I might do a negative that takes 6 seconds, and you're not going to go, I mean, it's just not realistic. And so you just want to have good, normal breathing as you move through the exercises, as you move through stretches. When I'm doing mobility also, if I was doing something that was more passive and or corrective, and I want to relax the body, I would be focused more on the breathing. I would be really breathing in through my nose, exhaling my body, because I want to relax the body into a stretch. When we're priming, I want to breathe. But with priming, I'm trying to activate. I'm trying to get going. It's not as important for me to relax and calm down into the stretch as it is the movement that I'm performing. So I know we cannot avoid having all the people that are students that like to pretend to be teachers online. It's inevitable we're going to get those. But the most important part when you're exercising is the fact that you do breathe, more so than the technique of it. Okay. Start with them squats first. I'll do a little bit of leg swings too right before I get going. I'm not doing a really good job with the consistency around my shoes. Could sworn I had put my Chucks or my Zeros in the car, and I guess I didn't. It looks like that's been in their same spot since me, huh? So this will be really interesting, right? We've trained legs now between deadlifts, squats, lunges 3 times now. This will be the 4th time, but the 2nd time getting back to barbell squats. So really, really curious about how this feels. We're gonna get 4 sets too instead of 3. I don't know, I stopped at what, 12, 10, 9-ish or something like that I think last time. I'd love to see 4 solid sets of 10 to 12 reps, at least with this. I'm gonna use the plates to give me a heel elevation here. Now the one thing that's a little unfair is that typically with a little bit of a heel raise, the squats become a little bit easier. Not a lot, not enough to make a huge difference, but that is a little more of an advantage for me. Not major. Main reason for us is to just put more of it into the quads because the hamstrings are so sore today. Am I lined up pretty good? It should be good right there. Okay, moment of truth. See how we feel. That felt really good. Good sign. All right. 12 felt pretty good, felt pretty easy. We'll stick there weight-wise for at least another set or 2. I would love to smoke 12 here, smoke 12 again, and then maybe add a little weight for the last one. That's what I'd like to do. But we'll see how we feel. Something I probably should have done, I didn't do, is I probably should have primed my hamstrings a little more. That would have been the safe thing for me to do. We're not pushing very much weight, so we'll be all right. I tell you, the documenting this, it's been kind of a cool process even for myself. As many times that I've done this, still there's eye-opening things, right? Once you start to track or document. And one of the things I feel myself wanting to do is I want to do more. Starting to feel good, exercises are starting to feel better, and I want to get this like bigger workout. 4 or 5 exercises, get a good pump, you know, walk out the gym all aired up. I'm like itching to feel that. And like reminding myself, that's probably the hardest thing we're going through right now, is that desire to want to do more than what I need to. Do notice hamstrings, in particular my left. I can feel a little bit more than my right, which one of the best parts about having the boys video all this stuff is I'll go back and I'll analyze my movement, see if there's a discrepancy. Most likely it's on the hips somewhere. And I'm sure if we were to go back and look at my hip mobility on one side versus the other, most likely the left side here, the hip mobility would be less, right, or not as good as the right. So there's compensation on the left, and I can just barely feel a little more in the left hamstring than the right when I come out of the hole. That tells me a little bit of weakness, instability in that hip on that side. And now I'll be mindful when we do the 90-90s to really spend extra time on that left side. What I don't know is it external or internal rotation? I'll know that when I do the 90-90s again, but just already squatting, and I can feel that slight, and then we're talking, we are splitting hairs maybe for the average person, but I can feel it. I can feel the left hamstring working more than the right. I feel like my squat form, it looks or feels pretty good, but because of that, it's firing a little bit different. That's enough to tell me something's probably going on with that hip where I don't have quite the internal or the external rotation that I have on the other side, and so the hamstring's overcompensating. It's a good sign though. We did, last time we had to drop down in the reps, I think. Comfortably did 12. Probably the cardio side of it's the hardest right now. The girls leave for the day already?
Yep. Just the boys.
Just the boys. I'm gonna have to switch this up. I can't squat to this. I love me some Bon Jovi, but I can't squat to this one.
I was trying to do curls and I was like,
Yeah, this is like I could stretch or something to this maybe. Let's go this way. Felt good, but also felt fatigued. So as much as I wanted to go up, we're adding a set this week, staying with the same weight. We hit 12 reps each time. So again, we're progressively overloading already, so don't need to. I wanted to, but we're gonna be okay. Also changed something. The first 2 sets, I was, or excuse me, that was 3, right? So we did 2 like that. First set, I had the bar in a more low bar position or mid back, and I rolled it up to more of a high bar. That high bar position will end up distributing the weight over my quads more than my hips. So I told you I felt that in my hamstrings. So what I was trying to do was put more of the emphasis back. So we're already elevating the heels. That already starts to shift the physics. So it starts to shift a little bit of quads. I'm still using posterior chain. I'm still using glutes and hamstrings. I was feeling it in my hamstrings in that side. So I went to a high bar, and you just got to think about it. So here's as I fold down into a squat, my back ends up like this. When the bar is midway, it's distributed evenly over my hips, glutes, and quads. If I'm at the bars at a high bar position, it's over the front of my quads, almost to my knees. Not quite, I don't want the bar over my knees, that would stress the knees. But the bar path now is right up here, where the bar path was more right here by me shifting that. So, there's plenty of videos on YouTube on high bar squat versus low bar squat versus mid back. They're all valuable. Some people can't squat high bar because it requires more mobility. I used to not be able to squat high bar, but I can now. And I'll play with the position of the bar depending on what I'm trying to do that day. So in this case, we're trying to put, by the way, my quads are on fire right now. Whew, that's a good sign. I like that. So today, I want more on my quads, less on my posterior. Maybe next week, hamstrings will be feeling good. I want to go heavier. I can definitely load. So if I have low bar, I'm stronger because now I'm getting more power from the glutes and the hips, which are stronger muscles. So if I was going for a max squat or a day when I'm really pushing weight, you'll see me work the bar down to mid back to low bar position because I have long femurs, long torso, so it allows me to fold over more and use the hips to power me out of the squat. So that's how I play with high bar, low bar, mid bar. Whew, my legs are burning right now. This last set's gonna be a bitch. I'm already dreading it. That burn really set in. We'll walk that off a little bit. Try and get them to calm down a little bit before we do another set. Okay, pray for me, Josh. Here we go.
Our Father who art in heaven.
Last one. We could have squeezed 12, but that's gonna be good. Who would have thought that would have pumped him up, huh? Some dips now. Pretty excited about these. I feel like if this song was the one that hit during squats, we would have got 12 reps. We were one soundtrack off. You know what's funny is right now I'm just having fun with it and playing with it, but as I get more and more serious, so does my attention to music, my outfits, the gyms I work out in, all that. By the time we're hitting like full stride, I'll have a playlist. I saw people asking about that too, so I'll have a playlist built especially for getting after it. So, no idea how this is gonna feel. This is something, let me get rid of that bar. This is something that I would normally love to use the weight belt, load with a kettlebell. I still would warm up my body weight the first one. I don't think I'm gonna need that today. Plus, I just wanna see how that shoulder. So, since we're concerned about range of motion because of the pec tear and the shoulder stuff I've been dealing with, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna get in the deepest position. I'm gonna create an isometric hold or tension and then come out of it versus hopping up, starting at the top, and then dropping down into it. This will help make sure I wake everything up in that deep position with the isometric contraction, help protect me and get ready for this up and down here versus lowering myself into a potential injury. I'm gonna start in there where it's nice and deep, create tension, and then come out. And I think the plan is gonna be, I hope I get at least 10 to 15. I don't know. I remember though when I was 22 years old, I'd been working out somewhat for like 2 years at that point. Never done dips like this. I didn't do them because I couldn't. I remember when we were like 19, 20, and my buddy hopped up and said, "Hey, try these." I didn't even have the strength to do one. And I was only like 170 pounds back then. Great exercise though for obviously triceps here, but also for your chest. That good deep stretch on your chest. So I love this for chest and tris and even shoulders, right? Because you're so deep here. So here we go. So I'm down real deep as I'm gonna get. Tension right there first, and then we're gonna come out. You see me shaking like a leaf. That's that central nervous system. So it feels like an unfamiliar movement. So if you ever get under like free weights for the first time, I mean, I feel this every time I take a break when I go back to like a barbell bench press and a movement like that. And a lot of times the weight, your muscles go, hey, we're strong enough to do this, but the CNS is like forgot the movement because it's been so long, and that's what you feel when you feel all that shaking. So when you feel that when you're doing exercise early on, that's super normal. Also a little feedback and reminder that I don't need to crazy push it. Like it's gonna get me. I can tell just by the way everything's shaking and firing. Although 10 felt pretty reasonable there. Yesterday was a hard day eating. Even though I'm trying to not make any crazy adjustments right now, I made myself drink a protein shake this morning just because I knew how low I was yesterday. And I said I wasn't going to do that this week. I was just going to pay attention to behaviors, but I knew how low I was and still sore. I had a really good day the day before, so I thought I was going to be cranking at 2,700 plus calories already, which that would have really excited me. And then yesterday, 2,000 calories was hard. So I think some of that has a correlation too with what I trained. So today we did these good squats. I pushed like that. I have a feeling that tonight and tomorrow, my appetite will kick up. So it'll be good, hopefully. Tension. Woo. 9, that's it. It's hard not to get frustrated too when I'm so weak. I think that's the same thing that makes me want to rush and hurry up, get back to big workouts, lean into the days that I feel really good and get after it, but I want to hurry up and get back to the place where I'm moving good weight. That's all ego though. So I was talking to Sal today about my EAAs. So, not that I was doing them wrong and we're splitting hairs, but because of how low calorie, low protein I am, I'm taking them 3 times a day. So if I'm not taking the powder, I'm taking the pills. I was, just out of convenience and consistency, taking them with meals, but he said I should take them in between, right? So eat a meal, 2-3 hours goes by, have them, and then I have another meal. Then so today I'm trying to be better about that. And I think by the time this goes live, we should be coming up on the episode that everybody's been waiting for. I sure as shit can't explain all the science to you guys. That's not my job. Starting to feel good though. I was walking around naked. That's always a good sign I'm starting to feel better. Katrina knows when I'm brushing my teeth naked that I must be starting to feel myself. She's like, oh, already, huh? I said, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was because I'm coming from a leaner place. I'm used to, if I'm off falling off the wagon, I'm carrying, I feel like, a higher body fat percentage. And so I'm having to build and also have a lot to shred. One of the unique things about coming from this 30-pound weight loss, even though my body fat percentage was kind of high, 15 is high for me, right? 15.8 is high for me. I didn't have lots of fat pounds. So I only had like 30 fat pounds on me. I've had 50 plus fat pounds on me before. So I feel like already just tightening the diet, increasing protein, training every day, I already feel my body starting to tighten up. But when you look at the scale, I've been around, started at 199, like 0.2, and the highest I've seen is 202. I think this morning was 201. So I'm like between 199 and 202 and just kind of hovering in that spot, which is a really good place to be. That's where we want to be. It's just psychologically it's hard because, you know, I'm lifting all this weight, I'm increasing calories, I'm eating more protein. You think, oh, I want to build all this muscle, so I want to see the scale go up, but just got to fight that urge. Okay. Last one, boys. Lightweight. Oh, whew. Damn. Just 8. God damn. And that's fatigue from the shoulders and chest before the arms. Like I don't even have my triceps don't even feel pumped at all. So that's just my shoulders still being really weak to dig me out of that hole, right? I guess what we could have done, even though I really wanted to, I guess we could talk about that. So there's variations of a dip that you can mess with depending on what you're trying to target. If I flare the elbows out and I go really deep and I lean my chest forward, I'm gonna get way more chest and shoulder activation. If I wanna really focus on my triceps, which today is supposed to be a tricep version of this, I can tuck my elbows in tight, keep my body upright, and only come down till the elbows are at 90 degrees. Don't go all the way down deep. If I was trying to put most of the emphasis on my triceps. That's one way to take the same exercise and manipulate it for different reasons. Now the workout program today called for squats, called for tricep dips. So I did them more like for chest and shoulders. And that's just because I really want to make sure that I'm working out any sort of scar tissue I got left in that chest area. I really want to challenge the shoulders through their full range of motion. So again, since the beginning of this, I've been telling you guys that's going to take a priority, the recovery process for me over the muscle building. I'm still going to build muscle from that. But if I was following the program to a T and I cared more, I was trying to get a tricep pump from that, then I would have shortened the range of motion up. I would have tucked my elbows in tight. I would have been more upright. But I wanted the deep stretch. So, and now what I feel now walking away is my triceps aren't even pumped, but my chest and shoulders feel fatigued. And of course, just did them yesterday, right? So, but again, You know, I guess that's been the coolest part about this that I didn't foresee, would be all these little tiny adjustments and then maybe communicating that through. I really hope that people find value in that. I know it can probably be boring to watch this all the time, but to me, that's the difference between just following a program and then learning about your body, and then learning how to, you know, form it to what you got going on or whatever, or modify it to whatever you have going on. And that's, I mean, I'm modifying one of our own programs. Obviously, I stand behind MAPS 15, and for the general population, it's an incredible program, and people will see incredible results from it just following as it's laid out. But people ask us all the time, like, do you follow your programs? And I say, well, yes, kind of, right? This is kind of what it looks like, is I plan, I'm going to be following an anabolic program, or I'm going to be following performance, and then I make these modifications and tweaks based off of how I'm feeling. This is also why I don't like to work out with people, because unless you're going through the exact same things and at the exact same level as me, we probably should be doing different stuff in the gym. All right, gentlemen, that's a wrap.